wow, what a wonderful response that I'm getting from my videos in regards to the Roman roads. But in many ways, lots of people out there are sort of agreeing with my sentiment that lots of the roads that are referred to as Roman were already there before the Roman era ever become the Roman era after AD 43. The point is that somebody raised the issue, why are lots of Roman roads named San Helen across Cymru? And you start to think, well, you know, they're Welsh names, they're not Roman names. Very good point there. It doesn't take the expert to work out that those names are attributed to existing trackways ever before there's any mention of Roman civilization, which is a good point. What I wanted to do is to consider the questions and sort of points of view that people have made in connection with Roman roads in another video. But what I'd like to do today is throw in a curveball. And the curveball is the amphitheatre at Caerleon. Now, what do we know about the amphitheatre at Caerleon? It was referred to by many sources as King Arthur's Round Table. Nice name, that. Lots of places across Britain associated with the name Arthur. But one thing that happened in the 1920s, middle part of the 1920s, was an archaeological excavation undertaken by the very eminent Sir Mortimer Wheeler. And one thing about the excavations by Sir Mortimer Wheeler is they were funded through subscription from readers of newspapers that would pay for Sir Mortimer Wheeler's dabblings at the Roman literary site at Caerleon. Have you ever been there? Have you ever looked at the Roman literary site at Caerleon and read all the information? And it says time and time again, it's built by the Roman military. Well, I, like you, well, not all of you, believed what was being written and told about this amphitheatre. But then, over the past few years, I've been asking myself the very intriguing question. As a Roman amphitheatre, directly alongside a Roman military base, why would you put an amphitheatre directly outside your fortification? Because all it would need is, if you're thinking logically, if somebody wanted to attack the Roman legionary base at Caerleon, all they've got to do is get their forces into the amphitheatre, because it's higher and overlooks the walls of the Roman military walls at Caerleon, and just throw projectiles in. Right. So, are you with me now? Right, okay. The point is if it's built by the Roman military around the same time as the Roman military base at Caerleon, roughly the mid-70s AD, it just doesn't make logical sense. The way the amphitheatre is constructed is in a very different way than the Roman military walls that the amphitheatre overlooks. And if you look at some of the fabric of the amphitheatre, including some of the carved stones, you'll notice that some of the material, in fact, probably all of it, is recycled building material. So let's take that one point. If it's recycled building material, which buildings was that amphitheatre constructed out of? Question. So go back. If the Roman military site at Caerleon was constructed at a fresh location, and then at the same time they built the amphitheatre, that doesn't make sense, because the amphitheatre and the reused building material used in the amphitheatre would have needed to have come from an existing structure. Now, I believe that the amphitheatre was probably constructed after the Roman military base was being decommissioned at Caerleon sometime in the 120s. And the amphitheatre was constructed out of building material from that decommissioned Roman military base. And therefore, having an amphitheatre outside ex-Roman military walls would make sense, because it would probably be the only space to build it. And also, if you look, the amphitheatre is actually constructed in an area that had been used probably when the Roman military base was in use, where a bathhouse was. So if you look at the Roman amphitheatre, so if you look at the amphitheatre, so on the eastern side of the amphitheatre, you've got the Roman military base. And on the western side, you've got a bathhouse and other structures which look like they've been cut into by the amphitheatre. And you see the building material is very, very different to several different phases of building material before you actually get to the build of the amphitheatre. Right, are we with it? Good. So what's this got to do with King Arthur? Now, well, somebody said in a previous video, Carl, are you going to go from academic sort of whatever and sort of go down the rabbit hole of King Arthur? Well, let's just put the King Arthur thing over there, right, for another lecture, right? So the point is when Sir Mortimer Wheeler was excavating the amphitheatre, what he wanted to do was get to the amphitheatre. That's what he wanted to get to, the Roman build amphitheatre. Now, we've used the Roman build amphitheatre. I should use the Roman era amphitheatre. It's built within that period of AD 43 and the end of the Roman era civilization, 476 AD, right? Okay. But as we know, as I would say in my own book, Romans in South Wales, which if anyone wants to read it, is grab it from the link below, right? Romans in South Wales. I know a few of you have bought my book. Well, in fact, the first edition sold out, but anyway, that's another thing. But the point is that this was built probably roughly about 120, 130 years AD, in my reckoning, from the reused Roman building material in the amphitheatre, right? So it was a civilian building. That makes a lot more sense than a military building, because it didn't make any sense there. Right, anyway, back to the Sir Mortimer Wheeler thing. When Sir Mortimer Wheeler was excavating, he gave no time for the layers above the structural walls, which were constructed in this Roman era that I'm referring to after the 120s, 130. Okay, if you go with my dating, right? All the material above was really discarded. It was just, you see images of a train track in there, and they're just taking all this stuff out and dumping it somewhere. Apparently it was placed into some kind of railway embankment. But if you looked at that material now, which was taken from the Roman Caerleon amphitheatre site, you'll find a lot of early medieval material, which is post-Roman. And we do have evidence of a brooch which was found in those layers, which some worker must have come across. Oh, so you go, Sir Mortimer Wheeler, shut up, you haven't found that. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, this if you want to equate this with the sort of that Arthurian world, right, the evidence is gone. If you want to see evidence of sort of that sort of 420s, 430, 450 era, when the building was probably well abandoned by then, right? It's all gone. It was all disregarded and destroyed. So, unfortunately, I do really respect Sir Mortimer Wheeler's work, but in the 1920s, he was trying to make a name for himself. His work became much more enhanced in the 1930s. So this was to try and make his name, and he made his name, but at the same time, all that sort of post-Roman stuff, evidence was destroyed. So if you want to link it with King Arthur, if you want to link it with some kind of kingdom in Gwent, we don't know because the evidence was completely lost. Right? Next recording, we will come back to Roman roads once I've looked at everything. But that's definitely food for thought. Tell me what you think. Anyway, karl-james Langford, don't forget to like, subscribe and join. Getting this video out as soon as possible. Keep watching, keep subscribing and share. Thank you very much for your support. And don't forget, this is, my series has just exploded because I wanted to sort of keep some of the stuff that Ross was doing. But now I'm sort of going back to what I was doing. And obviously, genuine series. And basically keeping the word out there, keeping things going. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and even join. Thank you. Don't forget, buy my book, Romans in South Wales, available in Roman Leisure Museum, and it's available in Nickenby Bookshop, Lansford Major, Connelly Hardware Store, and Aberynham Bookshop. It's available on Etsy, eBay, and the link down below. Not on Amazon. Oh my God, getting ripped off by that. Christ almighty. You sell a book on Amazon, you get like £5 from... Anyway, we won't go there. Thank you very much. Next recording coming up soon. Thank you. Bye.